What's up, guys? We're taking a look at a brand new Star Wars Black Series exclusive figure today, and that would of course be the Walmart exclusive MIMBAN Stormtrooper, and we got two of them. So we're taking a look at a character, or a type of character, from the Solo film. We got him here in sort of the standard box. You know, exclusives are a little different. We've got him in the window there. You can see a little bit of a different style of artwork. This time around there's a black and gray motif on this box. He has no number, and then of course we've got a bio, and that same artwork appears on the back of the box. So let's do it. Let's pull both of these guys out and take a look. Alright guys, here he is out of the packaging, our MIMBAN Black Series Trooper, and yeah, it's a Stormtrooper. He's got some dirt on him, and he's got a cape, and he's got a weird helmet, but we know all about this figure. I've already reviewed the SH Figure Arts version of this a long time ago, and of course this guy has been reviewed a number of times already by other people who got him out of the country. So we're going to run through all the normal stuff pretty quick, and then we're going to get to comparisons, because that's really what I want to do with this one, is compare the two. So let's take a look, of course, first at articulation. So if you've ever messed around with an OT Stormtrooper in the Black Series, I think you're going to know what to expect here. We have got the old style hinge and ball for the neck and head, so up and down, side to side rotation. The arms go about that far out without, you know, wanting to break them. The plates will start to hit eventually. Bicep swivel, you can rotate the arms. The mythical double jointed elbows in this line. We have got rotation and hinge at the wrists. We've got a diaphragm swivel, side to side, and a little back and forth. Pretty good crunch there. Legs go out about yay far. That's pretty good for Stormtrooper. Kick about that far forward. Kick back. You can rotate in there. We have got double jointed knees. They go all the way back. And then we have got rocker and hinges down at the ankles. And Stormtrooper ankles have always been kind of weird. The indentations down there seem kind of askew sometimes. They seem to be about on par with any Stormtrooper I've ever played around with, but everything's about as functional as you would expect. Again, if you've messed with one, you know exactly what's going on here. Sculpt-wise, paint-wise, that's where things are obviously different. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this figure. He does, of course, have the different head sculpt. He's got the kind of helmet armor, because, you know, the whole trench warfare aspect of these guys. So he's got the elongated plate that sticks out further, goes up a little bit more as well. But the rest of the figure, I mean, is basically a standard Stormtrooper. He does have a different holster, which presents a problem on its own based on an accessory that he comes with. We'll talk about that when we get to that point. But he's got a white holster instead of a standard Stormtrooper's black holster. Of course, we do have a lot of paint going on here. He's not just a stark white Stormtrooper. He is very dirty, and the dirt is honestly a little better applied on this figure, I think, than the SH Figure Arts, and you'll see why. But he actually looks very muddy. He looks very dirty, especially at the waist down. And I like the fact that he would be dirtier on the legs than on, say, his chest or on his head. He looks like he's, you know, got some battle wear up top, but he's actually been, you know, in the gunk, in the mud for a while, and he's just really dirty. So I really like the fact that there is some difference in terms of the paint applications for the wash and the wear and tear on this guy. But it's an OT Stormtrooper for the most part. Beyond that, how could you go wrong? They're classic, you know, kind of hallmark figures in this line, and it's another good example of the fact that Black Series does Troopers pretty well, and they've done a good job with the paint applications here as well. I'm very satisfied. Of course, he does have the cape, the kind of poncho thing, and it doesn't really work as, you know, any kind of hood or anything like that. The SH Figure Arts is very different as well. It's got some brushing on it to give it a little bit of texture, make it look like it's a little dirty. It comes through well enough, but it looks a little clean. It looks really cleanly applied too, so it's not as dirty in comparison to the figure. You can even see that he's still got all the gunk and the muck all over his backside there. This guy is tied on, and it looks to be tied on through the armor plating, so it's underneath here, and then there's just a bow there. So you could take it off if you wanted, if you just want a dirty Stormtrooper, or you could leave it on. I like the way it hangs. I think it's pretty good. It's nice and ragged, so I like the shape of the poncho that they've got here, where it kind of comes to a point at the bottom. It's a little different design, and I think it looks good. It's nice to have a caped, cloaked, ponchoed, whatever Stormtrooper. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy comes with one accessory, and it's almost what we would expect to see for this particular trooper, but a little different. So he's got the standard Stormtrooper blaster rifle, but it has a flashlight on the side here, this little piece that sticks out over here on the side. And, you know, that's all fine and well. This is cast in just kind of a grayish dark gray plastic, and I believe this is actually different. I know I've seen some pictures elsewhere where some people that got these, much earlier had a more black Stormtrooper rifle. So I'm not sure if that's a change or what, but both figures that I have this same kind of weapon. And what's interesting about this, or slightly frustrating, is that it can't fit in his holster. Because of the flashlight, there's no way for it to go in. It just stops right there. It cannot go in whatsoever unless you either cut that off or seriously force it in, neither of which I would recommend. So that's kind of odd. That said, I'm never not going to have him hold it, so it's not a big deal for me personally, but it's still a curiosity in the sense that he has a holster, he has a weapon, but they are incompatible with each other. And here's our comparison between the Black Series on the left, the figure arts on the right. And they're obviously very similar, but at the same time, they're quite different. The sculpt is basically the same kind of idea, just done by different companies, but the paint is where they are very, very different. And of course, the cape. So we've got the very obviously muddy version with the Black Series, but the SH figure arts, it looks more like he, just crawled out of a crater, like he just got blasted or something. That's kind of what I see with him, like he's covered in soot or, gun residue or something like that, like he's been mortared or something. So they kind of give off a different vibe to me. I think that the Black Series might be a little more true to form in terms of the fact that he's supposed to be from a muddy, rainy, nasty world, not that he's just battle hardened. But I do like both. The other difference, of course, is that the cape is not the same. This has soft goods, and I'm fine with that. I think it works pretty well. Hangs nicely. It looks good. I do prefer the figure arts better, though. I just like it better. That's really all it comes down to. It's not for any technical reasons. I just prefer this look. I think it looks dirtier in a better way, and I also like the way it hangs. I think the presentation with the little vinyl cape is really nice. The other thing that's not necessarily a big deal, because they're both obviously holding their weapons, is that the figure arts doesn't even come with a holster, and the Black Series obviously does, but he can't use it anyway, so it doesn't make a bit of difference either way. Honestly, I'm not sure when I reviewed this guy if I even noticed that he didn't have one, because hey, it's a Stormtrooper, and they're always going to be holding their guns. So they're very similar, but they're also very different, and they fit into their respective collections quite well. So overall, I think we have another solid trooper on our hands. I really don't have any personal gripes about this figure in terms of how he looks, how he's sculpted. It's what I expect. It's a Stormtrooper with the slightly different head sculpt with a nice, mucky, grimy paint scheme all over him. The cape hangs pretty well. The only real issue with this figure, and it's one that I don't care about personally, again, is that the gun can't fit into the holster. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they couldn't have fixed that. It seems like an oddity for anybody who is going to holster their weapon. I'm not sure what you're going to do about it, but at the end of the day, how many people really do that? It's a Stormtrooper. They're going to hold their guns. So I'm pretty pleased overall, and I'm glad to have this guy and the other one I got. So that's going to do it for this look at the Star Wars Black Series Walmart exclusive MIMBAN Stormtrooper from Hasbro. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.